Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christian Jack. If you don't know me, I have generated over $100 million in sales, closed multiple million-dollar deals, and coach sales professionals to earn $100K a month or more. We're going to be reviewing Iman Gadzhi's sales call. And Iman is an absolute legend in the space. So this is not to rag on him or anything that he's done. He makes way more money than I do, and way more money than probably you do as well. So you can't knock what he's doing if that's his goal, but we can take a look at what he's doing as a sales professional and see what we might be able to change in order to help him be more effective as a sales professional. And hopefully you'll learn a thing or two in the process. So let's get started from the very beginning.
This is an example right now of a 2-call close. Now this first call was actually an initial call that I had, and I had just been traveling for like I had been traveling for 36 hours. I've been away from my desk for like 36 to 48 hours. I was traveling back earlier in the year from Cape Town to London, and, hadn't seen my girl for 7 weeks. So, took a day off. So
interesting that he's giving all this information at the beginning. It's like he's trying to explain something.
I even tell this client, look, to be honest, I didn't get a chance to watch over the demo call. So this initial call is basically me stalling and just getting some preliminary information and then kicking the can down the road, basically penciling in that second follow-up call. So this call was actually before the call you saw before this and the one before that, like chronologically, in terms of when I had it in the year. So at this point, I didn't know.
Bro, why are you explaining all of this? This doesn't matter at all. Nobody cares.
About the whole, it's not that I didn't know, it's just I never thought to use that whole put in waiting room feature. I think going forward now, a lot of the 2-call closes that I've had have just been because I've wanted to stall and basically have some time to think about this and that. But now with the waiting room feature, in a lot of senses, I basically never have to do that. I can just, put them in the waiting room, speak with Danny for a few minutes, and then kind of reconvene. So with no further ado, let's get straight into it.
I'm from Sweden.
Nice. Whereabouts?
Huh?
Whereabouts?
In southern of Sweden, a town called Helsingborg. It's at the bottom. Yeah.
Very interesting. Never heard of it before. Never been to Stockholm.
No?
Really want to go. I mean, Sweden.
So this is super duper awkward. I understand that he's maybe trying to build a little bit of rapport. That's fine. Don't hate that. However, it's super duper awkward. And the way that you build rapport isn't even about getting to know anything about the person. It's just about the level of connection and openness that somebody feels with you and the level of vulnerability that they're willing to have with you as a complete stranger. So this is not doing very well at that.
Sweden just has the most incredible women, honestly.
I agree.
And then I've been to Gothia.
Gothia Towers.
Not Gothia, Gothenburg.
Gothenburg. Yeah.
Gothia Cup.
Okay, that's not bad. A little bit of self-effacement. He doesn't know how to pronounce things. Kind of makes him look like the old guy that is confused, doesn't know what he's talking about.
3 years.
Not great for authority, but
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of football. Man,
nice.
it's so funny. I remember, I would ask girls, it was half about football, half about partying and girls and stuff like that. I would ask girls, what are you doing here? They're like, oh, we're here for 2 weeks because we traveled from the other side of Sweden.
Telling a story isn't necessarily a bad thing. I can't tell how the guy's reacting to it, so I don't know if it's really effective or not. But
to come meet British and American boys and French boys and this and that.
Yeah, I've also played at that cup actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's
okay, so got some connection there.
It's a lot of fun. Anyways, just a quick heads up, going straight into this call. Won't be able to make you an offer today.
Total shift in energy. Should not shift the energy at all. Keep the same energy. Keep going in.
This is just kind of a no pressure preliminary conversation.
So immediately when somebody shifts energy, it generally means that either something changed, right? But what changed is the question. And it seems like Iman is now getting into sales mode. He's a completely different person already. His body language, completely different. His tone, completely different. Everything about him has now completely changed from how he was just communicating with this person a moment ago. So all of that rapport, all of that connection that he just got with him, out the window. As soon as he changes this sort of energy, it's not good. Just be yourself, for goodness sakes.
Obviously, Danny had the first 15-minute demo
He's fidgeting with his hands means he's nervous.
call with you. I'll just be 100% honest with you. I was actually traveling the last 36 hours. So I actually just didn't get a chance to watch it. Obviously, I always watch over demo calls.
Explaining himself, so he probably wants to be seen as like smart and prepared, and so he feels the need to explain himself to this person as to why he's not smart and prepared here on this call. Very interesting.
So as I said, I just want to get a bit of preliminary information from you. Then Danny and I can go away and speak about it. Now, from what I understand, you guys got 2 brands that you're working on. And
it's not a bad frame to hold, and like, hey, me and my team are going to review this call here. Just get to know you, see where you're at, and then we're going to go back and review everything to see like if we want to let you into the program. It's not the worst framing, but like it's definitely not very client centric. And most people nowadays, if you do this, unless you really do well in the marketing, which like Iman is very, very good at marketing, so he can probably pull this off. And he is the actual person from the marketing here on the call, so he's got even higher levels of authority. But generally, if you try to do this on like any other normal high ticket offer, good luck. The market is much more sophisticated now than it used to be. People have been on sales calls. They understand the process. You do something like this, they're going to call bullshit on you all day, every day. Again, unless your marketing is really, really dialed in, you've got that authority.
Building, kind of, where's the focus at the moment, and which one do you more specifically want our help with, or do you want our help with both?
So we have 2 brands, and the first brand is focused on the Swedish e-commerce market, and the other one is focused in the US. And we want to focus on the Swedish one for sure.
So I wouldn't ask any sort of question about like which business are we working on, because at the end of the day, you might be able to sell him on both after going through the conversation. But if you are talking about how you just want to focus on one right now, then you're like already seeding that as the outcome early in the call. So why not just leave it open-ended, and then later on he can tell you that he actually wants your help with both, double the price, that's fine, whatever. And you will end up making more money as a business, and he gets the help that he actually wants to have. But because we're early on in the call, this guy like probably doesn't know a ton about what it is that you do, the process that you go through, all that kind of good stuff. So like he's just holding his cards close to his chest.
And we have pushed quite a lot of revenue lately, and it's only like a month old, but we really see a huge potential here. So that's the one we want to focus on.
So you say it's a month old, but from what I understand, you guys are doing over 6 figures a month with it?
Yeah, we're doing like, yesterday we did about 30.
Simple framing is you're doing over 6 figures a month with it. You can tell Iman where his head is at, is that that's a lot of money per month. Very subtle thing, but imagine if you had said, and you're already doing over 6 figures a month with it, versus if you had said, and you're only doing 6 figures a month with it. Like, it doesn't have to be a ton different. You don't have to like change your energy very much. It's just a subtle word choice. And it's not meant to like put people down, but Iman like is used to dealing with much larger businesses. I wonder why he's using these words. If I had to guess, he's just not being very choosy with his words. He's not putting much effort into it.
35K in revenue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. 6 months time.
His camera angle is terrible as well. If you've ever gone into like a church, any sort of spiritual place, you'll notice over the doors there's like written words for you that you're supposed to read and like think about. What that's actually doing is a certain level of entrainment and hypnotic body language. Anytime that you go into a hypnotic session, it's what's called a learning state. Typically, trained hypnotists will get you into a learning state by getting your eyes elevated. And so not only is the prospect, it looks like looking down into his camera. So like he's down, which is the opposite of what you would want for the prospect. But then Iman is looking up. So it's like this, it's very small. It's not necessarily like 100% guaranteed, but it's these small things that just add up all the time. There's so much that goes into this, and it's clear that just Iman hasn't been taught about it. So
where would you need to be for for you to consider a success, our partnership is.
Iman's scratching his face, messing with his ring, like he's just fidgeting this whole time. So interesting.
Do you mean revenue-wise or?
Yeah, revenue-wise.
So Iman now is just going straight for the money, as opposed to like going for the actual problem that's going on that has brought this person to the call. Like rookie mistake.
You mean in the entire 6 months?
No, as in how much monthly?
Like $1 million. We want to aim like 500K to $1 million. Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah.
Understood. So,
is it understood? Like, you want to get to 500 or $1 million. Is it 500 or is it $1 million? Is it 750? Is it 8? Why that number? Why is that important to you? Like, what's the significance of that? There's so many things that are not understood. Don't just say understood because it's a habit to say understood. You have to get rid of habits that don't help you in order to become a really great sales professional. We learn terrible habits in our communication as we grow up, and ultimately, they're not often things that serve a sales scenario. So, got to get rid of that.
So, at the moment, are you just running the ads yourself?
Yeah. Currently, I'm doing all of the ads myself, but we have people that source videos and copywriters and stuff like that. So, but I focus on the advertising myself.
For sure. Awesome. How much time does it take out of your day?
Maybe like 4 or 5 hours a day.
I would still get clearer on, he says that he's running the ads. What are you doing, the media buying or?
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours a day. Wow.
I do a lot. Yeah, I focus a lot on it.
And are you the only founder, or do you have a partner?
2 others.
2 others.
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours a day. That's a lot.
Right.
So yeah, if you give me a breakdown, like
again, just kind of like a juvenile sales thing, right? Like, this guy knows what you're doing. When you say, gosh, that's a lot. Like, he knows that you're just pointing out that it's a lot. He knows that it's a lot. You're not adding anything into the conversation by doing that.
Let's say over the space of the last 30 days, how much have you guys, I'm assuming it's with the Facebook?
Yes, it's only focused on Facebook right now. Yes.
How much have you guys spent, and how much have you guys brought back?
I can take a look right now on the exact numbers.
Okay, it's good that he's actually like looking up his numbers, so he's got them.
Since the beginning, we have generated 200K so far, and we spent 60K on ads.
Awesome.
And that's in euros.
Amazing. And what's your guys' biggest seller on that store?
It's like LED spotlight, like when you can just put it like whenever you want. It's like
looking at it now.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's the sort of skew on that? Is that bringing in like 50% of sales, 80% of sales? Like, what's the distribution between the products?
70% at the moment. It's our biggest winner for sure.
Awesome. And then your second biggest winner?
It's we have the Galaxy lamp, and then it's like a fireplace cabin, so to say. Yeah, that's also a winner.
Okay, amazing.
But we run about like 7 to 8 products right now that is performing good, so I'm just scaling from there.
And for example,
so I know Iman at the beginning of this video said that he was just like trying to stall on this to set up another call, but like there's so much there that he can go into, and he's just not. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just out of laziness, if it's out of just not caring, if it's just out of a lack of self-belief or confidence, but like there's so much here in this conversation with this guy, and he's not diving into any of it.
With the spotlight, what's your margins on that?
We buy it for like $6 and we sell it for like
it's not terrible questions, but
30 euros. So it's pretty good margins on that one.
Well, okay. Amazing.
$6 with shipment and everything?
That's with shipping and everything, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, great. And your the lamp, do you know what the numbers are on that?
I can actually take a look for you.
In terms of
I'm just going to
margins
skip through this because this is horrifying.
So actually the lamp is the third biggest winner.
And had some not so great experiences. Can you touch on that a little more?
not like the lead one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Great. So you mentioned in your application that you've worked with a couple other agencies and had some not so great experiences. Can you touch on that a little more?
Yeah, we've only worked with one agency before, and we were pretty satisfied with their work, but then we added them as an admin on our ad accounts, and one of the members in the agency got hacked on their Facebook. So they actually hacked our complete business manager, and they removed all of our ads, and we couldn't restore the Facebook accounts. So, and they didn't give us the money back too. So it was a very bad experience.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. Now, you mentioned in 6 months, you want to be at.
Okay, so that's that. Why did you even ask the question? Why did you even ask the question? This guy just told you all about what happened. I have some definite questions off the back of that. I'm like, shoot. Why didn't you just quit business after that? Never try again, never hire another ad agency again. What is it that happened specifically after that made you really want to look into getting some more help, even though that happened before? Are you ready to get help with something else again? Or are you still just kind of in that place where you're so afraid of what could happen and so afraid of that bad thing happening again? There's so many different objections that can come up on the back end of the call from this conversation. And I applaud Iman for bringing it up. That's fantastic. It's step one. Understanding what exactly happened. You can get into semantics as to whether that's helpful or not. It really just depends on how much you really want to get into things. In my opinion, one of the biggest things to understand about sales is until you get to really, really high levels of influence and persuasion that we get into starting around purple, brown, and black belt inside of the dojo, my sales training program, up until that point, you're not dealing with certainties. You're dealing with probabilities, right? What is the probability that this guy is actually going to move forward at the end of this call? What is actually going on in his life right now? And those things, what sort of probability does he have in terms of if he were to come into the program, would he succeed, right? There's so many different things going on, but you're dealing with probabilities and seeing where you can increase or decrease the levels of probabilities that different events occur, right? So asking the question about, it looks like on your application, you had a pretty bad experience with these other ad agencies. What happened? You are playing with fire, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But now that he's verbalized all of that and he's talked about it, the probability that he gives some sort of objection about trust in your company, about, do you guys have your people become admins on my account? All those sorts of things are now raised. The probability that shit is going to go down later on the call is raised. It's increased. So now we have to ask questions to help lower that back down and increase the probability that he actually moves forward on the call, even if maybe he doesn't even trust us completely, right? There's so many things that can happen, but Iman just left that at face value, and that is debatably worse than even just not asking the question in the first place.
$500,000 a month, potentially even $1 million a month revenue. Is that as a business, or you want us to bring you in, $500,000? Maybe if you could, pinpoint a number that you'd be happy with, and then specifically how much you'd want us to spend, just so we can, kind of gather expectations, because if you want to.
Dude, you are not being clear at all about this. You're just rambling, you're waffling, you're not clear on your question, you're not clear as to what you want from him. Just ask, okay, how much do you actually want to take home with the business? And then reverse engineer the steps that need to happen there. Okay, that's how much you want to take home. Where is your ROAS at right now? All right, it's 6x. Okay, fantastic. So if you want to take home that amount, you've got a 6x ROAS. That means that you need to bring in, what's your current profit margins? How much are you actually taking home out of how much you're making at the moment? Okay, got it. So that's your profit margin. So that means that we need to make this much gross. And then in order to get that much gross, we have to divide it by 6 to know how much to actually spend. It's very, very simple math. It's not complicated. A literal second grader can do that math. All right. It is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Very, very simple stuff. And You not being clear on your question shows that you do not have this conversation very often, which is not a good sign to somebody who wants to make a buying decision. All right.
Wants to do $500,000 a month. That
if you want to take it even next level, you can ask your questions out of order to kind of confuse the prospect's mind. That's a pro level move that we talk about in the dojo a bit. I can go into it in more detail if you join the dojo. There's a link down in the description to join the dojo. You get a 7-day free trial. There's no downside, only upside. If you like it, then it may just be the last sales training you ever need. But in there, we go through asking these questions out of order to help kind of confuse the prospect and make sure that we're getting accurate information and they're not lying about it. Because you actually increase your cognitive load when you lie, because you're coming up with things that aren't real, versus when you tell the truth, it's a much lower cognitive load on your brain because you're just recalling facts that are already there. It's very interesting, but that's a couple levels above where Iman's at.
a 7x ROAS. Not sure if that's possible. If you want to do a kind of maintaining your margins as is, then it's definitely a conversation we can entertain.
We're definitely aiming for like 500K with a 2.5 to 3 ROAS. That's attainable for us.
Amazing. Understood.
What are you basing off for that? That's what's obtainable for us? Whatever you believe is obtainable is what you're going to obtain. If you don't believe that more is even possible, then you're not going to go for it. Like, what's the likelihood of going for something that you don't even know exists or isn't reasonable? There's a concept that I talk about in the dojo called shifting your degree of normalcy, right? I coach reps that made over 100 grand last month, multiple of them. And you're here stuck at 5, 6K a month, right? If you believe that making 10K a month is obtainable, and then I show you somebody who's making over 100 grand a month, you're probably going to blow past 10K a month. 10K a month is going to be like the simplest thing for you. You're going to be more concerned with how do I get to 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 120, right? And so Iman has 100% let this person down here, because I know for a fact that those numbers are tiny for Iman. But why is he not talking about it with the prospect? Probably plays into the same reasons why he's fidgeting a ton, why he is messing with his face throughout, his beard, why he felt the need to explain things at the top of the call. Might all be interconnected. I don't know, but it might be.
So, out of curiosity, you obviously it is taking a lot of time out of your day. But apart from that, why do you want to work with an agency?
Because I feel like I want to.
I don't know why I gave a little bit of nervous laughter. It's taking a lot of time out of your day. Like, dude, that's a big deal. If your company is doing a certain amount of revenue and you as the owner are spending 4 to 5 hours a day on one thing, imagine how much more the company would grow if you could reallocate that time and not only get better results by offloading that to somebody else, but now you have 4 to 5 hours a day to yourself to focus on actually growing the business in other areas, right? I wonder what that would do for the company. I wonder what that would do for you personally, right? There's so much that's there, and he's just missing it all.
Focus on growing the company without like managing the ads all day long. And I feel like there's more stuff that we're going to focus on now, and getting a warehouse here in Sweden and ordering a huge stock.
He's aware of all this.
So I'm going to work a lot with that too. And then other parts of the business as well. Yeah.
Amazing. So just out of curiosity, have you guys looked at expanding into different markets? Because we've got clients.
He just gave you so much. He just gave you what it will take to close him. He will take, like, the prospect has all the answers. It's your job as a sales professional to ask the questions, to get those answers out of them. And ultimately, Iman has missed the boat in so many areas already. Even if he missed everything else and he just asked questions about what this guy just said right there, he could have made this sale in probably about another 15, 20 minutes on the call. There would be no need for a second or third call, like he said that he booked. There'd be no need for this 1.5 hour long call with him. Like, this is elementary.
Come to us, one that comes to mind 2 months ago, or actually, 2.5 months ago, this client was just selling in UK, and we're like, look, I think we're going to do better. Like their entire business was just UK. It even had UK in the company name. And we were like, look, we think you could do a lot better in the States. And within the space of 2.5 months, the ads that we're still advertising the UK, start advertising Canada, States, and Australia, but the ads specifically just from the US has 3 times what their entire business was doing when they joined us. And we love bringing taking clients, and we love pushing our clients.
Yes.
And going, hey, maybe you're thinking a little too small here. So is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, we definitely want to go to other countries in the Scandinavia.
Okay, this isn't bad. He's establishing that like this guy has goals to do these other things. He's leveraging case studies and testimonials and giving very real examples, telling a story in the process. Stories activate ancestral scripts inside of human beings, inside of the limbic brain and the reptilian brain. Is very interesting how all of that works. But he's doing it in a way where it's like he's just not confident in any of it. And I don't know where that's coming from for him personally.
Yeah, like Denmark, Norway, Finland, maybe possibly as well. But our main focus is Germany as well. It's a huge market there, and that's also why I need to work with an agency so I can start on working on developing the company into more countries as well.
You're a very smart man, because a lot of e-commerce business owners, they're doing good and they never get to great because they're so adamant on doing what someone else can do better. Exactly. And is what our entire life is based on this thing. Our entire life, my entire life, my entire company payroll, this, that, and as you said, we can't build new distribution channels for you. We can't build an incredible company culture for you. We can't, we can't test price elasticity for you. We can't, find new winners for your store. Only you can do that.
I agree.
Interesting how he tied all of that in. He was going down the right path, and then he just like veered off onto this random side road halfway through. He was talking about life as a whole and tying all of this back into the place where it needed to be. But then he started talking about all the things that his agency can't do. Worst part of the call to do that. Like, you do need to cover it at some point, but this is not the time for it. Like, just was rambling, didn't really give much there, and just not good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. There's a lot of things about this call that could change at the end of the day, right? And there's always going to be things that we can learn, and there's always going to be things that we can get better at. But I will say there are some basic fundamentals of sales that are fairly irrefutable, and Iman broke a lot of those things inside of this recording. So again, it's nothing against him, not doubting him as a person, as a human being. Like, he has clearly had a ton of success in his life, so clearly he knows a thing or two. I also know a thing or two about this specific area, and there's definitely some ways to improve. So if you're watching this, take those notes for yourself, try them out, and at the end of the day, if you need some sort of feedback loop, if you want to get help with your sales, hit the link down in the description below, and you'll get 7 days of free trial to the Sales Dojo, my training community, where my goal is for it to be the last sales training that you will ever need. So try it out. Worst case, you don't like it, no harm, no foul, it was free. And best case, if you do like it, then I'll see you inside.